So everybody online as well as everybody here, welcome to our second chakra class. And yeah, I was wondering if that might be a little bit loud. Oops. Is that still too loud? You know what? I don't think I can. When I click it one time, it goes completely off.
I guess it is what it is.
Maybe on the speaker you can turn it down.
I can, but the speaker's down there, so there's a negative button there. You go. I turn it up a little bit here, and then you turn it down a bit there. It'll be better. Technical difficulties. All right, I think we're ready. So tonight we're doing the sacral chakra. Those of you, I can't remember who was actually here last week for the root chakra. You were here. I know you guys, you were away. But this week is a little bit different. It's going to be a very flowy practice. So the sacral chakra is the element of water. And as we're moving up our chakra system here, we move from our very base to that area of the pelvis, basically the bowl of the pelvis, the area below your belly button, just below your belly button. So when we do our deep belly breath, this is the area that we're working with. And so our practice is going to be very flowy, and it's about creativity and pleasure and joy and connecting with your emotional intelligence. And so that's what we're going to be working through class today. So we're going to actually start in seated, whatever that is for you. It could be cross-legged, it can be sitting on a block, it can be sitting in a chair for those of you at home. And we're just going to close your eyes, sit up nice and tall and straight, and just start by connecting with that area. And you can actually bring one hand to your, just below your belly button, and one hand to your sacrum. And everything in between, this is our sacral chakra that we're working with. And just let your eyes close and begin to connect with your deep belly breath here. So relaxing the belly so that you can feel the expansion and contraction of the belly. And feel that spaciousness in this area of the pelvis. And begin to settle into the sensate experience of your body. And as you connect with your belly breath, see if you can bring your awareness to the temperature of the air on your skin in whatever room you are in. And to the touch of your clothes. And your breath moving in and out. And your heart beating and pulsing. And begin to feel how you are floating in a sea of awareness of the sensation of being alive. And you can begin to allow your body to just rock from front to back a little bit here. And allow yourself to begin to surrender to the feeling of movement of your body. This is the domain of Svadhisthana, our sacral chakra that we're working with tonight. And begin to soften any rigidity in your body, in your belly, in your back, in your shoulders, in your neck. And let flow begin to take place in your tissues. And just begin that rocking motion with your pelvis. You can open your eyes now if you wish. I'm just rocking back and forth. Sorry, Callie, you're right behind my computer screen. If you want to slide your mat back just a smidge, the girls have moved back, so you can if you wish. Sorry, my table's a little high. So just begin that rocking movement. So we're just rocking back and forth on the pelvis. And so water is about fluidity and about connectivity. And then begin to make circles with your torso. And they can be really big circles, or they can be just little circles, whatever feels right for your hips and your body. But just beginning to find that fluidity and that flow, which is what we're looking for in our practice today. And then go the opposite direction if you haven't already switched. And sometimes when we're out of balance in this particular chakra, we can have a fear of change. And there's a lot of changes happening in the world right now. So this is perfect timing for us to be working with this emotional turbulence or just shut down emotionally completely. And so this is going to begin to get us connected with our emotional intelligence. And as you come upright, let's lift the right arm up to the sky, left arm down, and begin to come from side to side, nice flowing movements. This is also the energy of the moon. So just think about making that crescent moon shape with your body as we go from side to side. And go a couple more times. And then maybe we start making a circle as we move from side to side and creating an arc. We'll be doing a lot of these kind of shapes with our body, of circular arcs. And just really let yourself feel that flow. And let your body move how it needs to move. Let's just do one more time to each side. And beginning to let go of having to be in a perfect shape and just letting things flow. And then as you come up, let's move on to hands and knees for cat-cow. And so we're going to start making circles with our cat-cow here as well. So beginning to circle the hips from side to side, almost like you're making a figure eight or an infinity sign. And again, don't worry about if you're doing it right or wrong. You can make big circles, you can make slow, small circles and go both directions, go the other way. And just feel into all those little nooks and crannies. Feel into all the areas of the hips, because we're going to be working a lot with the hips. Go one side, go the other side, however your circles need to go. And then we're going to start moving from child's pose, and from child's pose into cobra. So as we move into child's pose, opening the hips. And as you inhale, rise up, and think of your body as a wave as we lower down and bring the chest forward up into cobra. And then exhale back into child's pose, and just keep moving with your breath. Inhale forward to cobra. And exhale back to child's pose. And just think about that wave rising and coming down. And rising and going back. Let's do a couple more like that, getting the spine moving and flowing. And now this next one, as you move forward and come into cobra pose, we're going to stay on our belly and bring your hands out to the side on your fingertips. So fingertips down, elbows up. And we're just going to flow up. So let your head be the last thing to come up and then flow down. Just like an ocean wave coming up and going back down, and begin to feel that flow in your spine and that element of water, connectivity. And then maybe you want to flow from side, sway from side to side. Get into some shoulder tightness and go the other direction. And then release your hands under your shoulders, press back into child's pose once again. And then bend your elbows, bring the palms together as though your hands are in prayer pose. And just bringing a nice stretch into the shoulders. And then release your hands down, come up into tabletop, bring your hands forward or your knees back, curl your toes under, and come into downward facing dog. So from our down dog, we're going to do something called Shakti waves. And so it's basically, if you need to look, you can go ahead and look. We're going to bend our knees, and it's like we're making a wave with our body. Coming forward, lifting up high, coming back, bending the knees. So it's just that creation of that wave shape. And then you can go the other direction. Press back. I'm hearing lots of crackles and pops in here. And there's lots of them happening up on the stage too. And just feel that sensation of just moving your body creatively and letting it flow. And then as you come back into downward facing dog, float your right leg up to the sky in three-legged dog. And really stretch it up nice and big. And as you exhale, draw that knee towards your elbow and bring it back up. And this time, draw that knee towards your wrist. And we're going to come into a pigeon shape. We're going to come in and out of this pigeon shape a few times before we actually go into pigeon, just to get the hips warmed up. And you can kind of rock from side to side, get into any tight spots in your hips. And then curl your toes under, come back into three-legged dog. Float that foot down. Let's do second side. Float left leg up. And exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, knee to wrist, coming into that pigeon pose shape. And then keep your back toes curled under and just kind of get into finding where your tight spots are here. We're just getting warmed up. And then let's lift back up into downward facing dog, actually three-legged dog, stretch it out. And float your hands down. Or your foot down, sorry. I like to see you do three-legged dog, or three-handed dog. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, walk your feet to the top of your mat, but let your feet be wide here, and maybe as wide as your mat. And take an inhale, lift halfway, and as you exhale, float down, and then rise up, letting your head and your arms be heavy and be the last thing to come up. Just a nice spinal roll. And then keeping your feet wide, we're just going to do some kind of forward fold waves. So as you inhale, lift up, and as you exhale, bend your knees, fold forward and roll up. And we're just going to keep going like that. Exhale. Let's keep doing a few more like this. Really begin to feel that movement and that flow in your spine. And bending your knees deeply as you fold forward. Letting your hands drag on the floor. Let your heart open as you rise up, and as you begin folding down. Let's do a few more like that. Exhaling as you fold, opening the heart, and inhaling as you rise up. And this time as we inhale, we're going to rise up. And we're going to step wide on your mat. And so step out whichever direction is going to allow you to be able to see best. So if you, whatever side is, we're going into this. So step back on your mat the long way so that you're going to be able to see what's going on. So we're going to start with our forward fold. Start with your hands on your hips. Take an inhale, lift the heart, and as you exhale, fold forward. And as you fold forward, release your hands so that you can grab opposite elbows. And then we're just going to sway from side to side, letting one knee bend and the other knee bend. And move your elbows almost like you're drawing a figure eight with your elbows. an infinity sign. So again, we're getting into that flow and that wave-like motion of our body and our spine, our shoulders, our hips, moving from side to side. Just let your movements be free, creative, whatever feels good. You're not doing it wrong. And then let's release the elbows, bring your hands to center. Inhale, halfway lift, and then turn your toes out 45 degrees for goddess pose or fiery angel. Bring your hands to your thighs. And inhale, come upright, keep the knees bent. Look at your feet and make sure that your knees and your middle toe are going in the same direction, and adjust your feet accordingly. And then with hands on your thighs, we're going to do a little stretch. Press into your right thigh and draw your right shoulder over towards the opposite side. So we're getting a stretch into the right side body. And then let's go over to the other side. And we're just going to move nice and slow from side to side. Again, that flow movement, that watery sensation of waves. So we're getting into side body as well as a little bit into the hips here. And then come back to center. Stay in your goddess pose. Reach up, grab opposite elbows once again. We're going to make circles with our body. So take an inhale, get long. And as you exhale, pick a side. It doesn't matter which one. Circle around and down and all the way up. And then go the opposite way. Keep your knees bent. Circle around and down. You feel this loosening up any tension in your low back. Side body, your legs are working. We're getting into hips. Keep that flow, that connection. And really, tonight's class is really about your feeling body, the sensations, the emotions. Emotions are just energy in motion. Let's do one more circle. And as you rise up, release your hands straight out, straighten your legs, and turn your toes. Again, it doesn't matter which direction, but so that you can see, we're going to move into warrior two. So bending your front knee in your warrior two. And we're going to bring that flowing, fluid, wave-like motion into our warrior two. So we're going to begin to lean forward, bring our back arm forward, and then come back into our warrior two. This time we're leaning back, the front arm goes back, look back, and circle back. And let's just do this a few times. Lean forward, reach the back arm forward, and reach the front arm back. Keep your front knee bent. And just let this be really fluid. Again, don't worry if you're doing it right. It's more about the sensation and that fluidity, that flow that we're trying to bring into the body, into the mind. Let go of rigidity. Let go of things having to be a certain way. And this is our last one. As you come back into your warrior two, we're going to just switch our feet to the other side. And so bending that knee now, starting with the back arm, reach forward towards your front arm. Come back into your warrior two, front arm reaches back towards the back arm. And just keep that circular flowing motion happening. The front knee stays bent the whole time. You feel like a dancer now, and it's dark enough in here, nobody can really see you. And just keep flowing. Think of your arms like seaweed, moving with the tides of the ocean. And now coming back into your warrior two. Actually, we're going to rise up. Bring your feet parallel. Let's turn to the first side that you were on so you can see where we're going. So we're going to come into side angle. So your forearm comes to your knee, back arm swings over and across, looking up to the ceiling. And then we rise up into peaceful warrior. So your front knee stays bent the whole time. Come back into your side angle. And then staying low, we're going to arc low across to the other side. Come into side angle, pivot your feet. Come to your second side. So just pivot your toes to the other end of your mat. And then inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. Take your time getting into your position. And now we're going to circle wide, stay low. Come to your second side, pivot your toes, side angle. Peaceful warrior. Side angle. Circle wide, pivot low. Come to your other side again. Side angle. Peaceful warrior. Beautiful. Side angle. And we pivot low. Second side. Side angle. Peaceful. Side angle. And arc low, stay low as you come to your second side. Side angle, this is our last one. Peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. And this time as we pivot low, we're going to come into our forward fold. So just bring your feet parallel here again. And for a moment, let's just fold forward. Find your breath. And then we're going to just sway a little bit from side to side here again, bending your one knee, reach your hands way over to that bent knee side, and then way over to the other. Just let yourself go back and forth a couple of times. And second side. And as you sway over to the top of your mat, whatever that's going to be for you, turn your toes so that you face the top of your short end of your mat. And you're going to step back, downward facing dog. If you'd like to do a couple of those Shakti waves that we did, you can go ahead and do that for a couple of breaths. If you want to find some stillness for a few breaths, you can do that. So we're going to go ahead from here now, moving into our pigeon. So let's start with right leg. Float that right leg up. And as we exhale, draw that knee towards your right wrist. Place that leg down. Walk the back leg back. And now with your hands here, we're just going to do that flow with our upper body like we were doing when we were standing. So inhale your heart nice and tall, and exhale, roll down, come back up like a wave. We're going to do this a few times. Moving with your breath, feeling that fluid flow of your body. And this time as you roll down, find a comfortable place for your forehead. It might be on stacked fists, might be on a block, whatever you can find to rest your forehead on. And then just take a few breaths here. Feeling into the hips. And then we're going to begin to do some visualization here too. So as you lie here in your pigeon, softening down, begin to imagine the moonlight. We have this moon energy connected with this chakra. Imagine that beautiful moonlight entering your crown, flowing down your body into your pelvis. And as it enters your pelvis, turns into a healing, beautiful, shimmering orange tangerine color and fills the pelvis with tangerine. Take an inhale, draw in that moon light, that moon energy. And as it enters down your body into the pelvis, turns to shimmering tangerine. And then bring your hands up, moving into downward facing dog. Out of your pigeon. If you have to stop and tabletop along the way, go ahead and do that. And if you want to do some Shakti waves before we move into your second side, get your spine flowing. And then let's move into left side, floating left leg up, three-legged dog. And exhale, draw the left knee towards the left wrist. Walk that back leg back. And then remember, we're going to do that wave with the torso, thinking like you're a wave in the ocean. It's kind of getting warmed up for your pigeon pose. 1 or 2 more waves, and then settle down into your version of pigeon pose, stacking your hands or using whatever you have available to you to give your forehead somewhere to rest. And then breathing fluidity into all the parts of your body. Probably that left hip might be where you're feeling some tension. And bring that visualization of the moon energy into your mind. The moon energy flowing through the crown of your head, all the way down the torso, and turning into shimmering tangerine as it enters the pelvis and fills the pelvis with shimmering, beautiful tangerine, healing light. A few more breaths here. And then release your hands under your shoulders and begin to draw that left leg up. If you'd like to do some three-legged dog or Shakti flows in your down dog, you can go ahead and do that again. And then from here, we're going to move into lizard pose. Twisted monkey, actually. So let's take a little flow in between. So inhale, coming forward and lowering down, either knees, chin, chest, chaturanga, however you want to get down. And then inhale into your back bend. And exhaling back, downward facing dog. And let's all take child's pose for a moment. And just release. Let the hips be wide. Let your toes touch, knees wide. Either arms reaching in front of you or alongside your shins. If your arms are stretched out, maybe bring your hands together and bend your elbows, pointing your fingers up to the sky in prayer hands. And then let's release the hands down. Find your way back into downward facing dog. You can also access this pose from tabletop as well. I'll demo from down dog, but you can do the same from tabletop. So we're moving forward with the right leg. So you can come into three-legged dog, step that foot up between your hands, and then walk that foot out to the outside edge of your mat and bring your hands inside. Drop your back knee. I'm going to give you an option here. So lizard pose without blocks can be really difficult for a lot of people. So this might be where you stay here. You might come down to forearms, some of you, or to a block if you have a block or a stack of books. And if you don't, and that's not accessible without forcing, just stay on your hands rather than coming down to forearms. So whatever works for your body. And so this is lizard pose. And if you want to bring a little bit of fluidity, you can lift your back knee and drop your back knee. Lift the back knee. I'm sorry, some of you can't see over my computer. This was a really bad setup. And then we're going to come upright. So if you've went down to your forearms or to your block, come upright and bring your right hand to that right knee. And we're going to begin to twist towards our right side. And so some of us might stay here, or you might float that right hand up to the sky. Now, another option here is to bend your back knee, point your toes up to the sky on the back foot, and you stop along the way wherever you need to stop. And then you might also reach your hand towards your back foot into twisted monkey. So don't worry if that's not the variation you're in. We're still opening the heart center to the right side. And maybe your hand and your foot just kind of wave hello to each other and they might not meet. That's okay too. And then let's arc that back hand up to the sky. Bring it back down, let your foot float down and find your way back. Downward facing dog. You might stop and tabletop along the way. And let's move to our second side. Left leg floats up. Step that foot up between your hands. Walk it to the outside edge of your mat. And you can drop your back knee here if you wish. You can come down to forearms. You can come down to a block. Or you can stay right where you are here with arms extended long. And then you can also play with lifting the back knee, dropping the back knee, or pick one or the other, or move fluidly between the two. So we're really working with the hip flexors, the front of the hips here. And so now we'll work with our variations of twisted monkey. So come to a position where your knee is down. Come back up to straight arms. And this time the left hand comes to your left knee. We begin to twist left. And so this might be where you stay here, twisting left. Some of us might reach that left arm to the sky, and this might be where you stay looking up to the left. Some of you might bend that right leg, the bottom leg, and point your toes to the sky. And some of you, that hand might say hello to your foot. It might actually shake hands, it might not. But we're opening the chest. The left shoulder is moving back. The heart is open. Maybe looking to the sky. One last breath here. And then reach that left arm up to the sky. If you reach back, bring it back down. Moving into down dog. Might move to tabletop on your way. Find your downward facing dog. Take a breath or two in your downward facing dog. If you wish to take a vinyasa or take a flow, go ahead and do that now. If you wish to take child's pose for a couple of breaths, go ahead and do that as well. And then taking one more breath wherever you're at, we're going to meet in downward facing dog. Taking a nice deep inhale in your dog, and your exhale, step walk or float to the top of your mat. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, flow down, bend your knees and rise up. And draw into your heart center. And let's bring your feet wide here. So as wide as your mat. We're going to do something we don't normally do in yoga class. You're going to think of your sit bones like you're drawing a crescent moon. So we're going to bend our knees and think of those sit bones. You're trying to draw a crescent moon. So we're making the shape. We don't very often move our hips from side to side in yoga class or in your day. Usually we're going this direction. So it's really good for the hips to take them out of that same motion that they're in and bring some of that lubrication, that juiciness into the hips. And then we're going to add our arms into this. So reaching opposite, and maybe you begin to circle the arms around. Again, we're bringing that moon quality, that ocean wave quality into our movements here. And just let it feel good, let it feel creative. Maybe it even makes you smile because it feels silly, I don't know. It's all about joy and pleasure tonight and fluidity. Let's just do a couple more like this. And then come back to center. And then let's just shimmy all of that out a little bit. Shake it all out like you're shimmering with the moonlight. Let it all shake, shimmy. And then just come into mountain pose, into stillness. And just notice what you feel coursing through your body, that energy, that tingling, that vibration through all of your cells, that sense of flow and fluidity and movement, even though you're come to stillness. And bring your hands to your heart. Maybe you feel your heart beating here. And as the heart beats, flowing all your blood, your fluids through your whole body, bringing nourishment to all your tissues. And then let's walk our feet together. And we're going to come, actually I'll turn this way. Reach up to the sky, and as we exhale, we're going to sit down in chair pose, and we're just going to keep flowing all the way down, all the way, all the way, all the way. Let your hands come down. Let your forehead drop towards your knees. Let your back around. And then come all the way down to your seat. Stretch your legs straight out in front of you. Kelly, do you want to move your mat over? Because I know you can't really see very well there, or maybe move that direction. I'm not sure where it's best for you to move. We're going to, I'm going to give you a couple of options for this next thing that we're going to do. It's like half happy baby. So you can come down onto just your forearm, and I'm starting with my left leg here, and grab either the sole of your foot or your ankle or your shin, whatever you're able to reach here. And then we're just going to do this motion. We're drawing the leg back and extending, back and extending, holding on to whatever's available to you. And then we're going to start, you can either stay on your forearm, or you can come all the way down if that's more comfortable for you. And then we're going to take that leg, and I'm going to come upright so you can see better, and draw it over and across your body and maybe touch the floor. And then roll back over and open it up to the other side. So we're drawing it over to the right, and then bringing it over to the left, and just moving it, getting that movement into the hips, into that hip socket in all directions. Your hips are going to feel really good and really tingly when we're all done with this. Just keep moving it back and forth. Couple more times, and then we'll move into our second side. And then come up. Extend both legs straight, and we're going to do the second side. So you can either lean back on your left arm as you grab your right foot or ankle or shin, or you can lie right down on your back and just start by pressing the knee back and extending it forward. We just start with this forward action. And then you can start drawing it over and across your body in front of you, and then drawing it back. And if you've laid down on the floor, let your whole body roll from side to side as you create this motion here. I was doing it this afternoon, or this morning, I should say, laying on my back, and it just felt like a nice massage on my back body, moving this back and forth. Let's do a couple more. And then we're going to make our way into tabletop. As you finish that up, you can make your way into tabletop. You're going to get creative with your hip circles here as well. And if your wrists are sore, you can bring yourself down to forearms as well. It doesn't matter. So let's start by extending the right leg straight out behind you, and then bend your knee. And we're going to start making circles. And you can get creative here. You can make big circles. You can straighten your leg. You can go the other direction, really open. So you're just making creative circles however you wish, and go the opposite direction. And again, there's no right or wrong. It's whatever feels right for your body. Let your inner wisdom guide you as to how your body needs to move. Do a couple more circles and movements in whatever direction feels right for you. And then let's bring that hip down and move into your second side. Stretching the left up, bending the knee, and then just start making your circles however feels right. And go in both directions. Maybe straightening your leg out to the side in both directions. And change directions once again, a couple more circles. And then release both knees down, and let's just make some circles in tabletop. Even, and go in both directions here as well. Even things out. And then release into child's pose with prayer hands pointing up to the sky once again. So wide-legged child's pose. And feel into the sensations in your hips. You might feel some tingling, some warmth, some juiciness in your hips. Shall I turn the heat down? Yeah. I can't tell what it is. So just a couple more breaths in your child's pose. And then make your way up to a seat. Now, I forgot to specifically say bring a blanket. So if you have a blanket, you can pull your blanket out right now. And you can either sit on a folded blanket to bring your hips up a little bit higher, or I forgot to bring my own blanket. I'll pretend my sweater is a blanket. We're going into Baddha Konasana. So you can either sit on a blanket to give your hips a little bit of height, or you can roll your blanket and you can wrap it over top of your ankles and pull it back under your knees. So it acts like a little bit of support under your shins, which feels really good. So I just went like this, Callie, over my ankles and kind of tucked it under my hips. So it kind of holds my knees from opening up all the way. So if opening all the way is a real strain for you, this can feel really nice. You can also put blocks under your knees or a rolled up blanket or towel, but this feels really good. And then I'm going to give you a couple of options. Some of you might just stay right here, upright. Some of you might begin to fold forward. And some of you might lay back onto your back. So you get to choose. And maybe you want to do forward fold for a bit, and then maybe you want to lay back. You can choose what best is going to suit your body today. And it might be both of them for a certain amount of time. I'm going to give you several breaths before we move on. But as you take whatever position you are taking, Just let your breath infuse your body with a sense of intention, of allowing yourself to move through your life with more fluidity, a feeling into spaciousness that you've cultivated in your hips and in your pelvis. And think about how you can step off of your mat at the end of class today and approach your day with the creative energy and an open mind of this flow and fluidity that we've been working with in class today. If you want to switch from forward fold to lying down or vice versa, go ahead and make a switch in whatever position you've chosen. We've got a few more breaths in this. Just feel what stillness feels like in your body after all that flowing. And perhaps as you come into stillness, you can feel your inner body still flowing with that fluid connection. Let's have 2 more breaths wherever you've chosen to be. And if you're lying back, make your way back up to an upright position. If you're folded forward, come upright, lift your knees. And if you're sitting on a blanket, you can stay seated on that blanket. But we're going to come into Upavishta Konasana now, which is legs spread wide. And if you can really spread your legs wide, maybe just bring them in just a tiny bit so you're not at your maximum. And you can put something under your knees so that your knees aren't overextending. You could put a rolled up sweater. Maybe your sweater reaches from both knees. But try to have the center of your thigh and your toes pointing up to the ceiling. Mine, if I'm not paying attention, tend to roll forward. So just try to get the centers up. And again, you can be seated on a blanket. You can support yourself with your hands so that you have a long spine. Or those of you who are a little more flexible, and it doesn't matter where you're at, but this is also your option to begin to fold forward. And if you have a big blanket or cushion, you can even fold forward and rest on whatever it is that you have. Maybe it's your duffel bag with your stuff in it, I don't know. Or maybe you stack your fists on top of a block, whatever feels right, but try to keep the toes and the inner thigh, or the center of your thigh pointing up as you fold forward, or maybe you're right here supporting yourself with a nice tall spine, and just let your chin drop slightly. Let your eyes close wherever you're at, and bring awareness into your low belly, into your low back, into your inner pelvis, your sacrum, and spend 5 deep breaths here. And with every exhale, imagine that any emotional baggage you're ready to let go of is washing down and out through the pelvic floor. And with every inhale, reclaim this space as creative energy and potential for moving forward in your life. Feel that spaciousness, that openness, and perhaps even envisioning that moonlight energy through your crown, through your torso, into the shimmering tangerine of your pelvis. 1 more breath here. And then wherever you're at, begin to make your way up. And drawing the legs together once you come upright into Dandasana. So again, in our center thigh and toes pointing up to the sky here. And we're going to just pour forward into Paschimottanasana. So you can reach your arms up and just with that fluid motion, let yourself pour into this pose, wherever that is for you, not forcing, just letting it flow. And after all this hip opening, enjoy this deep grounding stretch through your hamstrings and flexing your toes back to feel it into your calves and your Achilles. And breathing into your back body here, all the way down to the sacrum, to the base of the spine. 2 more breaths in your forward fold. And then with your next inhale, with that same fluidity that we've been cultivating through class, let yourself flow back up. And then bending the knees, we're going to lie down on your back. And 1 or 2 more little last poses. As you lie down on your back, bend your right knee and draw that right knee in towards your chest. And just a really passive stretch. And then take that knee and just let it softly rotate from side to side, letting your hands do the work. And eventually coming into a twist as that right knee comes over and across your body towards the floor on your left. Extending your right arm straight. Looking towards your right hand as your knee is moving towards the left. And just pause here for a breath or 2. And then drawing that knee back to center, back towards your chest. Draw both knees in. Maybe you rock from side to side. Feel that sensation on the sacrum, which is part of this chakra we're working with. And then extend your right leg down as you hold onto the left leg bent this time. And then begin to rock that shin, that knee from side to side, letting your hands do the work. Eventually bringing that knee all the way across and over into your twist and letting your left arm extend. Letting your gaze follow your left hand into your twist. Just taking a couple of relaxing breaths here. And then slowly on your next inhale, make your way back to center. We're moving into our final Shavasana. And then after Shavasana, we're going to move into a full chakra meditation. Since this is our last in-person class, and some of you may not be able to join us on Zoom, I thought it would be really nice to end with a full chakra meditation rather than just the second chakra that I was originally going to do. So get yourself set up for your Shavasana with socks, blankets, and don't skip Shavasana, those of you at home. It's the most important part, that where you get to absorb all the energy that you've created in your practice. So set up with your blankets and whatnot, and we'll have a Shavasana, and then we'll move into a chakra meditation to wind up our last class here. So as you find your way onto your back, for one last final little exercise before you completely surrender into Shavasana, reach your arms overhead towards the wall behind you. And then bring your awareness to your right arm and your left leg. And as you inhale, lengthen your opposite arm, opposite leg as much as you can. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Pause at the top of your inhale. And then exhale, release everything down. Now let's do other arm, other leg. So as you inhale, extend, get as long as you can, extend, extend, extend. Keep inhaling, pausing at the top of your inhale, and let it all go. We're going to do two more, except we're going to do same side this time. So right arm, right leg as you inhale. Get as long as you can. Pause at the top of your inhale and release, let everything go. And last side, left arm, left leg. Really, really long. Extend, extend. Pause at the top of your inhale and let it go. Let everything soften down into your Shavasana. Feel that bliss of stillness after all the activity for the last hour. And feel into the sensations of your body, of the flow, of the vibration, perhaps even tingling. Into the spacious area of your pelvis. And feel now how you are at this floating sea of awareness and the sensation of being alive. And then allow yourself to surrender into your Shavasana of total relaxation for the next few moments. Very softly begin to become aware of the flow of your breath. Use this flow of your breath to bring awareness back to the sensations of your body. And then begin to use that breath to bring movement into the body. Fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Slowly finding your way into fetal position as you feel ready. And taking a few breaths to transition in your fetal position, letting your body rest here. And as you feel ready, begin making your way back up to a seat, taking your time, taking a few moments to get comfortable, either sitting on a blanket, a cushion, a block, whatever you need to. And then with eyes closed, come back into a relaxed position, spine tall. And take a nice deep inhale. Feel that buoyancy, that lift. And exhale, feel into your lower body, settling with gravity. And just take a moment of awareness of this last hour of hip opening postures and asanas to teach us to loosen our grip on life and let things ebb and flow and find a sense of fluidity in your day-to-day life. And perhaps even allowing that ebb and flow to change your relationship with yourself. And as you sit for our meditation, bring your pinky finger and your thumb to touch. Your pinky finger represents the water element, and let your hands just rest on your knees or your thighs. And now starting from your crown, feel the stress and tension of your day and your week completely melt away. And feel energy flow through your crown, down your arms and out your hands, down your chest, your back, your torso, your hips, your upper legs. Feel all tension and rigidity melt away, flow out. Continue to your knees, your calf muscles, and your ankles. Feel the energy flow from your crown all the way down to your toes. And now let's begin some guided imagery as you feel yourself begin to be infused with a beautiful, vibrant red. Let this vibrant red energize you. And feel this color washing away all fears. Release all anxiety into the warm red. And let yourself be free from worry, from fear, and from anxiety. And then feel the color of orange, shimmering tangerine wash through you, washing away all that no longer serves you, making more space for joy. And let that brilliant orange open you to the experience of joy as you release all shame and guilt. And then allow a warm yellow to wash over you. And feel your body strengthen and become more secure as yellow clears the mind and invigorates the digestive system. Take a nice deep breath and feel the clarity within. And then healing green enters and purifies your whole system, renewing your expression of love and forgiveness. Feel the green open your heart to all the love you deserve, and know that you are connected to all. And then feel a beautiful, cooling, magical blue all around you. The color of the sky, enhancing your self-expression, allowing you to speak your truth, the universal truth, allowing yourself to express yourself according to your true self. Breathe in and out freely. And now moving to the calming influence of the velvet dark color of indigo. Allow it to stimulate your own healing power, wisdom, and intuition. And lastly, white light. Feel it embrace you, warm and pure. It shows you the peace and joy within your own spirit. Take this moment to enjoy the white light that surrounds you, that fills you, and that holds you secure. Take a moment to enjoy how you feel. Enjoy just being yourself, and know that you are perfect as you bathe in this white light, standing in peace and harmony with yourself and the world, physically and spiritually. Let's take a moment of quiet here. And bring your hands to your heart center. Take a deep inhale and exhale slowly. And we'll take an inhale to Om. Let's do two more. Inhale. Let your eyes gently flutter open. Come back into the space. To those around you, namaste, 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 namaste. Thank you so much.